y'all already know where I am. We're back at the airport like I never left. This time though, I am going to Chicago. I'm pretty excited. It'll be my first time in Chicago, which should be interesting because it's another big city. It's one of the few big cities in the US that I haven't been to yet, so I am excited to explore and see what it's like. It's the 28th. We're gonna be there until the 3rd. So a good like 5 or 6-ish days. So we have a lot planned for the first part of the trip. The second part of the trip, we don't really have anything planned, which is stressing me out just a week. But I'm sure we'll figure something out. I'm sure with timing, things will end up rolling over into the other days, and then we'll just find things. Definitely gonna ask the locals for recommendations because they always know best. So now I am heading towards the gate and we board. Boarding starts now, but because I have pre-check, I wasn't really pressed to get here on time. So yeah, it should be an easy journey to get there, and then I'll check back in once I'm in CHINATOWN. For this trip, I'm relying fully on public transportation. Chicago CTA. I bought a 7-day unlimited pass for just $20 through the Venture app. It works directly from your phone, so I just had to tap to pay when I'm getting on and off. It's super convenient, especially coming straight from O'Hare. The Blue Line connects the airport to downtown, and while it takes about an hour, it's clean, easy to navigate, and honestly a great way to get a first glimpse of the city. First stop in the city, coffee, of course. But this isn't just any coffee shop. We're at the Starbucks Reserve Roastery, the largest Starbucks in the world. It's located on Michigan Ave and spans 5 floors of all the good things. Each level has something different: brewing methods, cocktails, a bakery, and even a rooftop terrace. Whether you're a big Starbucks fan or not, it's definitely a must when you're in Chicago. Those are what I call the biker boys. And those no hand things. Cool. Just holding up trash. Take a look at yourself and make a change. If you want to make the world a better place. This city is gorgeous. That's crazy, man. Next up, I'm exploring Wicker Park, one of Chicago's trendiest neighborhoods. It has a creative, eclectic vibe that makes it the perfect spot for thrifting and some good vintage finds. I stopped by a few vintage stores here, with a rack stock being my favorite because of those prices. They've got racks and racks of affordable vintage and secondhand clothes, everything from denim to graphic tees to accessories. The neighborhood itself is filled with local boutiques, bookstores, coffee shops, and murals. It's honestly one of those places where you can spend hours just walking around, and it easily became one of my favorite neighborhoods. After dinner, we took a walk along the Chicago River Walk. At night, the city glows in a way that almost feels cinematic. One of the highlights of the evening was catching art on the Mart. It was coincidental, but I'm glad we got to see it. It's the largest permanent digital art projection in the world, displayed on the 2.5-acre river facing side of the Merchandise Mart building. Chicago day 2. Yesterday was a great first day. We were able to do quite a lot to where our feet were crying by the end of the night. Got a smooth 30,000 steps in. So hopefully today isn't as intense. Right now we are walking towards the train to go to Logan Square Farmers Market. I'm pretty excited because it's apparently one of the most popular markets in the whole giant city of Chicago. So I'm excited to get some matcha and maybe a little something to munch on before breakfast. Loving the city so far. It's definitely given me a good first impression. We've just made it to the Logan Square Farmers Market, and it is 9:14, so it's nowhere near as busy as the videos I've seen, which is great. I definitely want to find that matcha, that's for sure. And I'm a little hungry, so I might get a snackety snack. We have just arrived to the bean. This big giant bean. The inskirts of the Bend. Next up, Chinatown. Chicago's Chinatown is one of the oldest in the US, dating back to the early 1900s. It's incredibly walkable and filled with authentic food, shops, and cultural landmarks. We explored Ping Tom Memorial Park. It's a peaceful spot with walking paths and traditional Chinese landscaping. I grabbed some dinner here and stumbled upon a little shop that was selling smiskis, so I had to get a few. This morning, we're in another one of my favorite neighborhood's Pilsen. It's known for its strong Mexican-American community, and it's famous for its murals. The murals in the 16th Street tunnels are part of a larger public art initiative that started in the 1970s. They tell stories of immigration, resistance, cultural pride, and identity, and walking through them feels like being inside a museum. One of the cool things I've noticed about Chicago are all of the little neighborhoods are so different from each other. Right now we're in the Pilsen neighborhood, which is known for its Latin American influence. And now I think we're about to walk around some more, go look at some of the thrift stores, and then just keep exploring Chicago. But so far, obsessed. I love the city. I have said I could see myself living here. Happens everywhere we go. Yeah, it's a cute area, nice day. In the afternoon, we headed to Fulton Market District, which is formerly a meat packing hub and has been transformed into a hotspot for food, art, and design. I played a few rounds of mini golf at the Puttery, which was so much fun. Then I walked around and grabbed lunch at Time Out Market, which has a curated lineup of local restaurants all in one spot. One of the most Instagram spots in the area is the giant yellow door on Morgan Street, which was honestly pretty cool to see. Now we're on architecture, riverboat cruise. One of the best things I did in Chicago was the architecture boat tour at sunset. The tour sails along the Chicago River and breaks down the history and evolution of the city's skyline. Chicago is considered the birthplace of the skyscraper, and this tour helps you appreciate that legacy. From neo-Gothic landmarks to sleek modern towers, the guide explains everything, the design, purpose, and stories behind the buildings. What made it even better was that multiple locals told me that this is the one touristy thing they still do when friends visit, and now I get why. The next day we visited the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. There's a free money museum inside where you can learn about currency, the economy, and yes, see 1 million in person. Later we headed to Lincoln Park and hung out by the beach. The view of the skyline from here is one of the best in the city. In the evening we caught a show at the Second City, one of the most iconic comedy theaters in the US. This morning, we started our day at the National Museum of Mexican Art located in Pilsen. It's one of the most important institutions of its kind in the country and one of the only Latino museums accredited by the American Alliance of Museums. The exhibits cover everything from traditional folk art to contemporary Mexican-American perspectives. It's free to enter, but it holds so much cultural weight. I left feeling so moved by the stories and the creativity in every room. If you care about community-based art, this is a must. I've been reading the things in Spanish so I can practice. A little learning language tip. After the museum, we walked around the rest of Pilsen, popping into more vintage shops, grabbing snacks, and just enjoying at a slower pace. You can really feel the pride here in the murals, the shops, just walking down the street. There's something really grounding about being in a space that honors its roots while still evolving. And that is Willis, aka Sears Tower in all its glory. So today we're going to be going to the sky deck of Sears/Willis Tower. We were going to go yesterday, however, little pro tip, the ticket prices change kind of whenever, whatever day. It really just depends on how busy it is. But if you buy the tickets the day of, you're spending about $10 more than you would if you bought it in advance, even if it's just a day in advance and you buy it online. So we refunded our ticket. There was a $5 non-refundable transaction fee, but sometimes you gotta take a little L to not take a big one, you know what I'm saying? So we refunded it and then just went online and purchased it for today. So we're gonna check it out today. I'm pretty excited. This is one of the things that I was looking forward to quite a bit while we were here because I love a good observation deck, and this one is definitely going to be pretty cool as it being one of the largest buildings. This is one of the tallest buildings in the world. It still stands as one of Chicago's most iconic landmarks. Part of me feels like it's moving. Am I on the train or am I not on the train? That's the question. Inside, you walk around the interactive exhibits that tell the story of Chicago's neighborhoods, architecture, and cultural contributions. Then you reach the ledge, these all-glass balconies that extend 4 feet outside the building. There's only 1.5 inches of glass between you and the city below, which is pretty cool. You get about 90 seconds on the ledge per group, which is plenty of time to get photos or just enjoy the views. That night, I took a deep dish pizza making class at Pizzeria Due, a sister location to the original Pizzeria Uno, where deep dish was invented. The class started with a dough demo, then you grease your personal pan and build your pizza from the bottom up. Cheese first, because we're in Chicago, then toppings. I went with onions and green peppers, then sauce. I was by myself, but the group that I was sitting with was so welcoming and they were hyping me up the whole time. At one point, I was sprinkling cheese and it was definitely giving Salt Bae vibes. Once the pizzas went into the oven, we had a salad and yapped while we were waiting for our pizzas to come out. Once I tried it, I was honestly shocked and impressed. It was so good and one of the most fun solo experiences I've had in a while. I just finished up at my pizza cooking class. It's right there behind me at Pizzeria Due, and it was such a great experience. There were a group of girls that included me in their group and helped me feel welcome, so that's always great, especially when you do classes solo. But it was a great experience. The pizza was amazing. Probably the best pizza I had, even though I had Lou Malnati's. I prefer my pizza. It was pretty good. Pizzeria Uno is apparently where the deep dish pizza originated, and Pizzeria Due is their sister restaurant. So I feel like it was special doing the experience there. But there it is across the street. Now I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my final evening in Chicago, and I'll keep y'all posted. We close the night with fireworks at Navy Pier. Every Wednesday and Saturday during the summer, they put on a full show over the lake. It's free, family friendly, and just one of those classic summer in Chicago experiences. Locals show up for it too, which says a lot. On our last morning, we grabbed one final view of the skyline, picked up a couple souvenirs, and made our way back to the airport. That pretty much marks the end of our Chicago trip. I cannot express how many times I have said in some shape or form, I could really see myself living here. I did talk to some locals and they were like, I feel like everyone feels that way about their city, especially when they've been living there like their whole life or for a really long time. But there's so many things to love about Chicago and so little things not to like. I can't even think of anything. Probably the winter. I don't know if I could stick through a winter, but summertime Chicago is such a vibe. We've been here for about a week and have done so much. The food is good, the people are nice, the transportation's amazing, the weather's great, all the different activities and things you can do are great, the neighborhoods are amazing. What is not to like? I love it here. We're gonna take the train back to the airport and we should land back in Atlanta around 6 p.m. Not too bad on transportation. Fingers crossed for no typical airport mishaps. I'm not even going to speak them into existence. Oh, I did stop into Open Books, which is like a used bookstore. They have so many options. I could really spend hours in there, $100, and probably come out with so many books. But I did manage to get 3. I got The Other Woman. This was only $6.50. I got The Jigsaw Man, which was $7.50. Okay, girl, she black. Criminal defense attorney. Okay. And a John Mars book, which I love John Mars. This was only $8. So I got these 3 books. If I lived in Chicago, I would be there so often. It was such a nice little bookstore. If and when, not if, but when I come back to Chicago, I'm definitely going there again. If you made it to this point of the video, comment the word Magnificent Mile so I can know who my real ones are. This trip just showed me how much Chicago has to offer. Culture, food, art, and some of the most beautiful city views in the country. I already can't wait to come back. And like I said before, I can see myself living here. I'll see you next week.